Howdy! Today we're going to be looking at some of the subtleties of the cross-section assignment. So let's start by having a look at the title block that we set up. I set this to be a 1 inch equals a foot scale factor, okay? And I'm going to check a few things real quick with our utilities and take some measurements. As you can tell, these boxes are now 3 inches high, and they are 1'6" wide. Okay, that also means that this bottom border down here is 10'6", and if I zoom out, I would also notice that the right hand and left hand borders are 8 foot. Okay, so essentially I have created a scenario where everything I type in feet actually gets printed in inches on the PDF that's exported. And it is very helpful to set that up so that there's a 1/4 inch border around the edge of that title block of white space around that edge that I have highlighted. Now let's have a look at something new that I added. I added this new layer called dim. That is for my dimensions. And I wanted to do something a little bit more professional with dim. Okay, I made it yellow so it'll stand out while it's on the screen there. And then I also changed my line weight to 0.13, which is about half the thickness. So on the sheet of paper that's been passed out in class, you will notice slightly thinner lines for the dimension. That gives it a nice professional look, which is something good. You want that. The only other thing that I would point out about the dimensioning that is new and we have not practiced is I did an override on this dimension right here. I manually double clicked and typed the 8'-0" because it was a different dimension. Why was it a different dimension? Well, if you zoom in on this area right here, you can see that I put a break line instead of showing an entire 8-foot high wall. I just made a break line indicating that there's some extra stuff going on there that's exactly the same as what's shown above and below it. Okay, so that break line allows me to fit something on the sheet at a higher resolution, higher scale. 1 inch equals a foot. Everything else on here we have talked about. We've done annotations, okay? We've done dimensioning. We have done hatching. We have practiced all of these things. You should be able to replicate each of the drawing elements. And please pay special attention to this hidden line right here because it's easy to overlook. You actually have part of a 2x4 that's back there behind the rafter. All right. So another thing to pay careful attention to is the way these asphalt shingles are drawn. They are also overlapping each other. And there is the 1 inch by 1 inch drip angle at the very edge of the entire eave right there. So those are all of the subtle details that I wanted to cover.